Okay, so you want to try to make a map in Particle Fleet Emergence. Let's get right to it. So, from the straight menu, you want to do a mission editor, and of course, you have your list of all the maps. And in my case, I have too many. So we want to start a new one. So we go down here, create new map. We're going to call this guy, let's say, teaching map. And let's make it a square map. And we'll get an average size. We can go all the way up to 500. And it can be as small as a 50 by 50 map. I'm just going to go with 200, which makes you a medium-sized map, which is pretty good. So here's your basic map area. And the first thing I usually do is set my mission name and description, and I'll show you why in a second. So when you save a map, it saves it, but what you really want to be able to do is finalize it. But if you don't have a title and description, it won't allow you to do so. So let's just give it a straight name and a description, which doesn't really matter at this time. So now if I want to save it and finalize it, I can. And now, why do I do that? It's when you're doing and you're working with maps, sometimes you'll make a mistake. And if you have your finalized version, you can actually get that back and undo your mistake instead of remaking the entire map from scratch. So on the left side, you have your ships, like in when you usually play. And then on the right side, you have your editor window. And what matters on this side is this section. So you have your mission description, your conversation, which if you want to do some kind of story mode, you can. And then you have your general settings, which depending on what kind of map you want to do, it's quite useful. You have your add ships, so you can design and put in your own ships, your structures, so that includes your energy sources, your emitters, and all that jazz. And then you have your custom images, which is really useful if you're going to be doing your own custom units. Below that, you have your plasma, which is the usual blue or red. Then you have your fields, which allows particles to be moved around in a certain direction. And then you have your land. So first thing first, let's erase this plasma because I don't want it. And we're going to put some land. In this map, we're going to get 2 large islands. And we're going to do the straight out line of the islands like so. They don't look very good so far. That's okay. Now, if you right click, you'll notice I am moving the map around, so you have to click erase. So these are only land height 1, and we're gonna try to smooth out the edges to make it look more natural land. So I take a smaller brush size and like so, smooth out the edges so there's no big gaps, unless that's what you're looking for. And that's going to be it just for now, just as the basic land. So it looks like this, and we know what we want. I don't want any more land in this map, so it's only 2 big islands. So now I can start worrying about my emitters. So I'm going to save this real quick. And one thing you'll notice is I save very, very often. So do I want this to be a hard map or an easy map? And this is where the general settings will come in. So particle health. So you have 3 types of emitters, soft, medium, and hard. And the harder the particles, the tougher they're going to be to kill. And another thing that matters is the maximum amount of particles you're allowed to have on a single map. The default is 2500. and you can set up all the way up to 6,000. Now, more particles does not mean a better map. It just means a map that can generally run slower. So if you design your emitters the right way, you can actually have a very good, well-balanced map with a small amount of particles. Now, what kind of goal do we want to have? So we can have a destroy enemy, so all the emitters, the stunners, the MER emitters, or we can do goal total destruction, which requires destroy every piece of particles, all the red stuff, including the MER, including the particles. And then we can do percent mire, so if we just want to say take over the land and that's it, even if there's emitters left, percent mire will allow you to win the game. It doesn't even have to be the entire island. You can say 50% and then you win. Then you can have custom depending on your scripting, and also collect items if all they have to do is collect, let's say, an archive file. So first thing first, we're just going to go straight with a standard destroy enemy. Now, failed mission on HQ loss means that if they lose their HQ, they fail the game, they have to restart. I'm going to leave that off for now. So we're going to leave 2500 max particles for now, and we're going to switch the particle health to something I like. So 1, 2, 4. So it doubles for the strength. Land energy is if you mire the entire land, this is how much energy you're going to get. Now remember that if you have higher land, so this land height over here, they are worth more than lower land. So there's a certain mathematical algorithm, I'm not sure exactly what it is, we can look it up another time, and that allows you to control exactly how the land mire energy is distributed. Below this you have the max amount of omnis, the gems if you want to give any M gems right off the beginning, and then these three options. So require all item collection. So if you want to be a stickler that they require to collect everything, you left this on. I take it off because it can be quite annoying to finish a map, kill everything, and then just wait around while you're picking up the last few omni or the last few M gems. And then my favorite one is particles over merged land. So once the enemy has access to the entire land, their particles can start traveling over it. So let's click this one on. Oh, there it is. So the red emergence and blue emergence. So this one, blue emergence is your emergence that you unlock with technology. Red emergence is the ones that if you set to a rate here, and that can be any rate, is how fast they'll spawn out of the land that the red has access to. Finally, you have metallic land. Metallic land, if you click it and close right here, it will change the color of your land, and this can no longer be mirrored. Now, metallic land does still count towards your total amount of land captured. So essentially, if you do this, you lose access to that portion of energy. So for this map, we'll leave it alone. Then close that to reset the settings. Now put them back up, and then there's your background, and then you can do whatever you want with this one. So just set a different background, and I'll finalize. Now if I were to actually try to play this map, I would automatically win because there's nothing here. So let's put your first enemy in. So you press add structure, and you want an emitter. I decide I'm going to put my main starting base around here. So let's put your first or your only enemy right here. Now I placed a single emitter, and if you click it, this editor panel will show you the properties you can change. So you have your particle type, soft, medium, hard, your initial delay, so how long does it wait before it starts to produce particles. Then you have your production interval, so how fast it makes in particles, followed by the max amount of particles it can actually produce. So usually the default is 200. We're going to skip recall, and then we're going to go for now, and then we're going to go to max lifetime. So if you look at the lifetime, it says 2400, so that means 2400 frames. So if you divide that by 30, that gives you a very long lifetime. So we don't really want that for now. If you want a very efficient emitter that never stops producing particles, you multiply the production interval times the number of max particles, and then you add one more set of production intervals, so 201. What's going to happen here, if I finalize that, it will create a constant stream of particles. If you look at the particle count here, they'll hit 200, and because they expire after 200 frames, they go a certain distance, and that's it. Now, if I were to change the production interval and the max lifetime like this, you'll see that they'll start reaching to a further distance. So if you look over here, you have 200 particles being formed. It now reaches a good portion of the map. Now it's trying to mirror this, so now the particle count will actually match the max amount. So now we can just load this, and we remember that our production interval was 2, and max particles was 200 and 402. Now, if we want to do a max distance, so let's say it can only go no matter what, no further than here, I could set one of those. I usually leave it 0, which means it can go as far as it wants to. Lastly, you have max speed. The faster the particles move, the easier it is. The harder it is for your ships to hit it, and they're more likely to do some kind of damage to your ships. So, because I'm mean, I usually like to set it at 1.2 or 1.1. So they're slightly faster moving particles. We'll talk about these percentages another time, and the group's shape and things like that. We'll look at that later. Now we have one emitter. Next, we're going to add some ships. Now, of course, you have the standard ships from Virgil's missions, or if you already have your own set of pre-made ships, you can load those in. We're just going to go with the stocks for now, and we're going to give it one lathe and a couple Jovens. So a simple mission for now. Now, we're missing the most important part of this map, and that's an energy source. You can't do anything without energy. So we're going to add 3 energy sources. One here, one there, and one here. If you click on your energy sources, you have the range, which is this yellow circle, and then your rate. So we're going to give it your basic one a slightly higher rate and a slightly bigger range. Now, if we want to be nice, we can start by adding a player mine, so you can start building right away. Then we're going to start this with an enemy on top of both. So we can technically play this map. So if I finalize, I can exit the editor. And we'll see teaching map. So you can see I'm currently working on the map called The Cross. We're not going to play that. So if we go to teaching map, press play, you get teaching map, objective, destroy all enemy structures. Description doesn't really matter. So if we play this map, we can right away start putting your guys down. And if you're very quick, you can actually capture this guy. So we're gonna build your 2 ships. And we can start building things. Go as usual. Like I said, this is a very easy map. Easy particle, so this is nothing for our friendly neighborhood HQ. So we'll take out the emitter and we will win. So I'm gonna speed up the time. Now, obviously I just won, so there's your usual screen. You submit your time, you exit the mission, and then you can upload this map by clicking this button here. Press upload. I already submitted the map, so I press agree. And now I can start changing this description. That's why I said it didn't matter. You can change it right before you upload it, so you can start putting in anything. Like if there was codes, PRPL would tell me that I coded something. Obviously I didn't, so I'm going to put teaching tutorial. And then you press OK. And I'm going to press OK. So that's the first basic map. Now I'm going to go back eventually, and I'm going to show you some more important things later. Bye-bye.